Hi there everyone, welcome back to another video. We're here on day 2 of the Great Electric Train Show. Today's video is sponsored by Train-O-Matic, makers of DCC decoders designed to be fully compatible with every manufacturer's locomotive. I'm really honoured to be joined with John Barber here, and how's the show been for you so far?
Having a really good time, great weekend.
I saw quite a scrum of people around your stand yesterday. You must be doing a roaring trade.
Busy all day, and then it hammered it down with rain in the afternoon, so that kept everybody in right till the end.
Absolutely, yeah. The weather was a bit grim yesterday, but today it's actually bright sunshine. The crowds aren't quite as busy as they were yesterday, but I'm seeing a lot more families as well in there, which is always great to see in the hobby. And have you seen a step change in terms of the people who are coming and buying modelling materials?
It's probably business as usual. A good sort of demographic of cross section of people from young to old. On the Sunday, you always usually get the families coming in, and it's a different sort of. The hardcore ones come on the Saturday, usually to try and buy all the bargains off the stands and things.
The ones with the sharp elbows.
But certainly for getting to see layouts. I didn't get a chance yesterday, but I'll be having a look around the layouts today. So yeah, all good.
Absolutely, and of course you've got on display some of the samples of forthcoming special commissions, and we're being really spoiled rotten because you've got the improved precedents, you've got the V2s as well, the Cali 812s, and also we should mention the Hellion 18,000s have just gone on sale. You're selling them at the stand this weekend.
Been well received, yes.
And you've announced the 18,100 as well.
Yes.
So, gosh, it's all go.
Yeah,
are you going to leave us with any money whatsoever?
I'll try not to.
But I mean, how are pre-orders going for some of these?
Really great. I mean, obviously it's been difficult over the last 18 months with COVID and lockdown, we've been lucky that we're in an industry which has kept very, very buoyant on the mail order. And I suppose now it's just great to be able to get out and about, see so many customers that we have not really seen for some time now. And there's no shortage of people coming into the hobby. And the people who are in it are definitely still spending, so it's all good.
Definitely, I mean, it's like it was difficult to actually get you away from the store for the interview because people kept coming up and going, "Can I buy this? Can I buy this?" And I'm like, "John, come on, interview time." But no, I mean, the pre-order's going really well for things like the improved precedent. When you announced that, it took really people from the left field because nobody's really dared to go for a locomotive before. All the examples were gone by the 1930s, with the exception of Hardwick, the preserved example.
It's definitely an area that's been neglected, and there's such beautiful looking locomotives. And even now there's some rolling stock available on the market. So I think people are definitely embracing that period. Are
they still available to pre-order?
They are. Sold out? All selling very, very well. The 812s has been amazing. The precedents obviously not been announced as long, and obviously the V2s. I think with the V2s, people, when they actually see the level of detail, they're probably thinking of past V2s. This is a brand new tooling. And
because I was going to ask about that, because I know that Bachmann, they kind of warmed over the V2 quite a while back now, and there was a lot of clamour for a complete retooled model. And that's what's actually come through with this that you've commissioned from them.
I was actually, because I thought, a V2, and I was a little bit unsure, to be honest, at first, until I saw it, and it was like, oh my god, this is just a new level. They really, Bachmann have outdone themselves with it. I mean, this is what Bachmann are good at. Bringing fantastic locos out, but with a V2, it truly is a work of art.
It does look really nice in the cabinet, and of course the 812 is one that a lot of people have been anticipating. And there's actually, what surprised me is you've got 2 Caledonian Railway liveries in there, and one's preserved and one's the original period livery. And I was actually quite surprised that they are very different. Did that surprise you?
I had a lot of comments over the weekend because it's the first time that people's really sort of seen them side by by side. And obviously the preserve version is a lot darker than the original Caledonian Blue. They're both very beautiful liveries, but a lot of people's, I'm going to have both. I have to have the preserve one and the original, which is okay by us.
Absolutely, that's all right. Yeah, we've got another one as well in LMS. You can buy that too.
And because we had the 18,000 on the stand, we had a handful that we got. I would imagine we're near, probably less than 10% now left. So that's been. Fantastic.
We've seen that running as well on Pete Waterman's
on making tracks.
And you were quite excited because I stood next to you when it came round. And that was really nice to see it coming through, and you could hear the sound going because he's got the full bells and whistles.
The sound version is awesome,
and it really has a presence because it had the full train behind it, and it was just gliding around that layout.
With the interior lights and the exterior lights are perfect. It really sets it off, and the sound is.
It's that great to see when you've commissioned a model and you've gone through all of that process from the research to the EPs to the livery samples to finally getting it delivered, and when you see it running on somebody else's layout, is that a magical experience?
We're very, very pleased when it happens, and of course I was talking to Brodie from Hornby Mag yesterday, and it's all about putting smiles on people's faces, and it's job done. We do it for a living, but at the end of the day, if we put smiles on people's faces, it's very, very rewarding. And if you bring a good model out, it will sell. It's about raising the standard, quality. Pushing the boundaries, that's what it's all about.
And also, you've also been at the forefront of the 3D printed wagons that you've done in partnership with Daypol. And we saw the Iron Mink come through as the latest iteration of that. And it seems to be a really great way of introducing wagons to the market, which wouldn't necessarily have justified the more conventional approach with tooling and injection moulding. How's that project coming along?
It's really good. It is still a work in progress. We want to get the price down. But there are always going to be smaller productions, and there's a lot. It's quite intensive the process. If you have if you have to scrap something, it still costs the same amount of money. So we're looking at different techniques, and it's something that we've probably not been doing it as intensely. But we've got somebody working on it nearly full time now. So we're hoping to do a lot in the future.
Excellent. And I suppose there's such a wealth of interesting wagons that this is the perfect approach for some of the more oddball wagons, which look very, very distinctive and eye-catching.
Because simply, a lot of them would never get done. They wouldn't be commercially viable to do on a huge run and pay for a normal tooling. But it does lend itself to 3D, and obviously 3D printing has come on in leaps and bounds.
Absolutely. Those models, when you see them, and particularly when they're all finished and painted up and lettered out, you're actually hard-pressed to tell that it wasn't made through injection moulding, because the actual quality of the finish is up there with exactly what you would get from the injection moulded models.
And the materials in it, it's literally almost on a monthly basis, things are improving and getting better. The prices are hopefully going to keep dropping down. So it's something that we're excited about, and we've definitely got a lot in the pipeline. But when we're nearer to releasing it, we'll probably,
absolutely,
talk about that later.
Excellent. And are there any other new developments that we can see going forward from Rails? I presume that you've got a wealth of new commissions in the pipeline. Obviously, not expecting you to tell me anything that hasn't been announced.
We are enjoying working with so many talented, people and manufacturers. It really, at the end of the day, we love the retail side. That's what we're good at. I like to think we're good at anyway. But obviously, there's people like Cavalex and Revolution.
And Sonic Trade. I must as well mention the A5, because you've got samples in the cabinet as well. I forgot to mention them. And they look amazing. And actually, the BR sample, that's an actual from the factory Tampo printed model. So it's as they will come from the factory.
And we're hoping, obviously, as things progress, we should be getting more samples and things that we'll be sharing with people online on the social media and so on. And it's great. So there's lots and lots of things in the pipeline. We don't like to announce too much,
obviously,
because you can feel like you're just doing a loads of announcements and nothing's coming through. So as we've done, the 18,000s have just landed.
Yeah.
So we've just announced the 18,100, and I think that's when the Bachmans arrive next month. We're probably going to do another big announcement. So,
right. Yeah. So watch this space.
Yeah. So there's plenty in the pipeline. It gets harder because obviously ideas. You've got to sort of think outside the box. And I think we're probably always going to look for the things the not so obvious things. Because obviously the bigger manufacturers will always go for the A3s and A4s and and Deltics and
there is an element of that, but what I've noticed with things like the improved Precedent and the A5 is that you say it's maybe things that mainstream manufacturers would have otherwise passed by, but they've proved so popular. Yeah. Do you think that what you're doing is you're trailblazing such that the manufacturers might actually think, you know what, there is some mileage in some of these slightly more unusual prototypes?
Probably. I mean, I suppose, when manufacturers are laying out a lot of money on tooling, they've got to get as much longevity out of it as they can. So, they probably look at it on more of a commercial basis. But, it's not going to change, I think, really. And ultimately, a lot of what I think will happen is older models will get revisited, as with Acroscale doing the Deltics and the Class 92s.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. And it's how far they can push the boundaries, really, because the quality of models these days is amazing, and of course sometimes comes at a price, but as long as we're able to sell it and people want to buy it, we'll keep coming up with the ideas.
Brilliant. Well, look, thank you very much for taking the time out to have a chat with us, and it's been a really great insight into rails, both past, present, future. But I'm going to let you get back to the stand because it is so busy out there. Yeah. You're doing a really great brisk trade, so I'm really looking forward to these new models coming through, and we'll speak soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you.
Take care, and thank you as well for watching this interview here on the Jenny channel. But until next time, you take great care of yourself. Happy modelling. Bye for now. Today's video is sponsored by Trainomatic, makers of DCC decoders designed to be fully compatible with every manufacturer's locomotive. Visit train-o-matic.com to browse the full range and see what they've got suitable for you. I'd like to send out a huge thanks to everybody who supports me on Patreon, and an extra special huge thanks goes out to Anthony Kidson, Offshore Allen, oorail.co.uk, Michael Lockie, Helen Sink, Peter Bolton, Brian and Dorothy Mudd, Gary Lewis, David Quinn, Sparky107107, George Botterini, Chris Moss, Robert Steers, MD of San Juan Model Company and Grantline Products, Sam Yates, Dale Williams, John N. from NC, NYMRish, Jonathan Foster, Peter, Graham Foster, Clifford Ison, Larry W. Grant, NI Railways 4000 class, Ian Coulson, and Alan Dickerson. Thank you. Without you guys, I couldn't do this.